Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have Advocate Neha Bargotra of Kashyap Partners and Associates, graduated of BA LLB honors from Amity University, Noida. She is practicing in Delhi with specialization in international law. She also experienced in corporate law, immigration law, intellectual property law, international taxation, and arbitration. This present session is in collaboration with Nitish Mehra and Associates, Law Office, and Kashyap Partners and Associates, LLP. Today we have ma'am here to speak on the topic COVID-19 and third wave. To understand more on this subject, let us have Neha ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Kushali, for the introduction. Thank you so much. Okay, so to start the presentation on the topic, let me just share my screen. You all can see this. Okay. So basically, for the past 18 months, the world has been grappling with the life-threatening virus named SARS-CoV-2, popularly also known as COVID-19 or coronavirus, the origin of which is still being investigated into. It is really clear how the waves of death and destruction continue of fear and devastation the world. And it has left us wondering what to deal with this nightmare. Basically, India is currently dealing with its second wave, although some of the states are dealing with other waves, like third or fourth wave. A wave in a disease is characterized by the increasing in the number of afflicted victims and then followed by a decline in the numbers over a long period of time. At the same, currently, we have second and third mutations going around of the virus, and that are creating a great challenge to the world. At the moment, India has reported second most cases of COVID-19 after the United States in the world. That is very devastating. The second wave that we are facing right now.
Can you be a little loud, please?
Sure, sir. Sure. The second wave that we are facing right now, the threat that we have faced, that can be ignored. How so? The countries that all over the world had learned from the first wave that prevention is the only way of reducing the number of patients who fall victim to the virus. Proper treatment at the correct stage with sufficient facilities, but in particular ICUs and oxygenation are required the most to deal with the rising cases. As a matter of fact, most countries in Europe are now capable of dealing with high number of infections by following strict guidelines of prevention. What is the prevention? Social distancing, wear a mask, you wash your hands, maintain distance, do not go out into public where there are large crowds and gatherings. If we look closely at the patterns, it will be safe to conclude numbers. The warning signs were ignored and the safe took hold of the whole country. The unpreparedness was clear as patients continued to succumb to their death, not just due to virus, but due to lack of facilities. They were not able to get the health facility that they had been promised or that they had acquired to battle the COVID-19. The country's capital, Delhi, gasped for air due to lack of oxygen in all the hospitals. While the virus continued to mutate and adapt, several new strains are being repeated all over the world. Now, even the first case of new coronavirus right now over 12 months. Recently, a new strain that is a mutation of UK has been seen in Vietnam. So, what is this virus new variant that has been developed? The new Indian variant of COVID was founded by scientists in the country and also confirmed by other experts from other countries as well. The spiky protein that is present in the new strain has two mutations that it used to host cells. The new variant spreads at a faster speed after it has invaded chest and lungs of the patient. In unvaccinated patients, the double mutated virus shows severe and unusual symptoms. So as of normal nature, we do not know much about its nature and how it is being mutated into several other variants. Oxygen support is being used more and more by patients due to the drop in oxygen concentration in blood, and ICU facilities are urgently needed. Diagnosis and immediate treatment have shown a relatively low mortality in hospitals with severe complications. with complications such as pneumonia, several black fungus, white fungus, and other fungus have also found in patients that have been grappling with the second wave and new mutations. New studies are showcasing that the long-lasting effect of the virus on the patient's body. There appear to be two newly discovered strains of virus, dual mutation. Many patients with these variants are under the age of 45 or are little children. Doctors have noticed that new symptoms are attributed to new strain among patients. The causes for the spread of the virus are the following: comportment, that not following the precautions that were been set in the guidelines, and mitigation and environment, and the virus mutating itself. The frightening future. Massive gatherings like political rallies, religious celebrations have violated all rules and protocols of COVID, had surely led to the worsening of the situation in the country, which is why we are seeing such high rise of cases in the second wave. The AIMS director had warned that India approaches a stage of third wave quickly, and if this trend goes on, the last thing that the country is preparing to do is run towards stage 4. And estimate how 1 lakh cases a day, India would need 5,000 to 10,000 beds every day for critical treatment. This data was there before the second wave also, but the preparation of the beds and the hospitals were not made properly. A survey by PwC found that India has just 1.3 hospital beds per 1,000 patients, with the World Health Organization mandate of 3.5 beds per 1,000 people. Current critical medical equipment is estimated at 1.9 million hospitals, 95,000 ICU beds, and 48,000 fans, by conservative estimates of scientists at CDEP India and Princeton University. The vast majority of these are present in Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Telangana, and Kerala, the major states of the country. The vaccination drive of India, however, is swinging in full. Its staggering population is the greatest disadvantage to a successful vaccine drive, even as efforts have been undertaken by center and state. Although, along with the large population of the country, it is also facing shortage of the vaccine, as the certain amount of number were not ordered at the correct time. And now, only now, after the second wave has grappled us, we have granted mandate to foreign vaccines. Let us go on to the third wave. Now, Principal Scientific Advisor in India, Dr. K. Vijayaraghavan, warned the nation recently that the third wave of COVID-19 is inevitable, but can be curbed with appropriate measures. The second wave had proved to be more devastating than the first wave of the virus, which is leading to speculations that the third wave will be stronger than the first two. Gene mutation of the virus has made the scientists, health experts, grow despondent with determining any future patterns. Even so, precautions are of utmost importance in state of uncertainty and speculations. Health officials say potentially third wave of the virus would affect children and newborns too, as we've seen that the first wave was more affected on older age and elderlies, and the second wave had affected people of middle age and from 20 to 45. So we are speculating that the third wave affects children more. As per speculation, the third wave is only a few months away, and children who become infected with the virus are a challenge even for their families. The members of the family must take proper care of their children. Physicians say that the level of infection can increase if proper medical attention is not given to the child. The main agenda, the main call of the hour is health facilities, health conditions of the country at this moment. Okay. So impact. What will be the impact on children? Generally, every subsequent spread of virus, if we see usual patterns of other viruses as well, it gets weaker with every wave that it comes. So because the population has already become immune to it. But this is not the case with COVID-19, as we've seen with the second wave in India. The first major wave affected the elderly, and the second wave affected the younger population. So immunization is not working as much as we had hoped. The children's immunity is comparatively less strong, and any infection is quite severe with several complications. In the face of an alarming rise in newborn and young COVID-19 cases, Rajkumar Chauhan, Deputy Director of Health Department, Akola division, has indicated that special COVID wards are being established in children's hospitals with particular aim of enhancing health structure in order to prepare for the possible third wave. Any new wave of the pandemic can be prevented with strict precautions and building a herd immunity, a commune immunity. Vaccination, a certain proportion of population is necessary to build a herd immunity. The third wave can only prevent mass vaccination from causing further havoc. At the moment, vaccinations are not available for children due to the uncertainty how their immune system will react to the vaccine. The size of vaccine is cleared from the age of 16. This means some high school students can adjust to the shots whenever they get eligible for medical care or whenever the vaccine is accessible in India. Although both Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are in the run for conducting tests for vaccinating children age of 12 and above, and they're expected to publish their data throughout the summer. Although other researchers began with older children because they're more likely to react in a similar fashion as adults. It is more complex to test even smaller groups since the smaller children, since their immune system are complex and vastly different from that of an adult. Every children can require a different dose or have a different response to the vaccine. So it will have to be customized to that particular individual or particular children. The community protection is unlikely to be obtained without child immunization. This is the cornerstone for bringing us all back to some sort of normalcy. Dr. Giridhar Babu, epidemiologist, professor at Indian Institute of Public Health in Bengaluru, and a member and advisor of National COVID Task Force in Karnataka, made a statement that third wave, it depends on several factors in period from now till December, the proportion of vaccinated people, prevention of super spreader events and all types of crowds, and how early we can detect neo variants and limit them to local areas. Aggressive vaccination drives for all age groups should be the main focus of the government. Several states have already taken measures toward protecting the more vulnerable and susceptible population. UP recently announced that vaccination for parents with children below the age of 12 will be prioritized. Goa, on the other hand, is prioritized to get the vaccination for lactating mothers. Pediatric care beds and hospital wards have been increased by several states in the line of looming threat of third wave that is expected to be more dangerous for children. Right now, we also have training more doctors is also a priority for several states in the aftermath of second wave. What is the perspective of the Supreme Court on this? We also received a warning from Supreme Court in early May that there can be a third wave, and they directed the government to be ready for it and to prepare the country for it so that the situations that were faced during the second wave, they are not repeated again. Dr. K.V. Raghavan, Chief Scientific Consultant of the Government of India, recently said that although the wave is inevitable, the virus circulated highly and the time frame was unpredictable. So it's on the basis of pattern, we are still speculating that the third wave is inevitable, but we are not sure about the time or the rate of it or how devastating it can be. The Supreme Court suggested a pan-India plan to combat the third wave of COVID and to create a buffer stock, which would help in avoiding the shortage faced during the second wave. Now, the supply and demand has to be streamlined and has to be prioritized on the basis of what is most necessary. The Supreme Court says prepare today or handle stage 3 of COVID. Children may be affected during the third wave. Ensure vaccination of children and bolster your infrastructure to deal with the third wave. Rope in immunity aspirants and nurses. This was the direction given by Supreme Court to the center. In similar fashion, several directions have been given to the government with regards to the pandemic preparations. To conclude, whether it's just speculation or it's just, the way we prepare. Several experts and epidemiologists have said that the third wave, there are several countries that are still going through the third or fourth wave. So it's inevitable that there will be, as there is no herd immunity being maintained right now. There are not enough proportion of population of the country that are being vaccinated. So WHO says that disease causes affect 1 billion people until hundreds of thousands of people a year. In just a few short months, the coronavirus have caused catastrophic turmoil around the world. changing the power balance in global politics and economies and national governments and nationalistic sentiments. Unless humanity crashes in inevitability, should another lethal man-made make appear, it would be no more than a matter of time before a pandemic decimated humanity. So this should be a call of warning for us to prepare ourselves, to take precautionary measures, and do not take guidelines in a light manner. We have to respond to them. We have to take care of ourselves and people around us. That's my time.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session. Ma'am, there are few questions that need to be answered.
Sure.
Okay, can we have you on screen, please?
One being how the vaccination Am I visible?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, the questions are that how the vaccination policy have any effect on the third wave?
Can you repeat the question?
How the vaccination policy has any effect on the third wave?
So as we've already discussed, that creating a herd immunity is the only thing that, and strict lockdown is the only thing that can prevent a large scale explosion of the virus again and a third wave escalating as much as the second wave escalated. So it is very essential to get all the eligible individuals vaccinated to create that immunity. Because with the vaccine, the rate of getting infected and being the spreader, being contagious, also gets decreased. So that is very important right now.
Thank you, ma'am, for this answer. The second question is: are the governments really prepared, or are we going to see more worse scenario than the second wave?
With regards to the preparation, the second wave, we were not prepared at all. There were warning signs and there were quarantines. We again have warning signs. These are the warning signs that we have seen before the second wave also. So as we've already had the ignorance of the one warning signs, we shouldn't ignore them again. These are the warning signs that we have to take seriously and prepare for them. The government is taking effects that we have learned that the oxygen supply was very less, and steps have been taken to handle that, but there needs to be more done, specifically with regards to child care and increasing the health efficacy.
Ma'am, one last question. The children are to be affected. Doesn't the government need to seek vaccination for children first?
So yes, right now, as already discussed, the immunity system of children is still very volatile and very different from adults. So the vaccines that are currently in the market, they are not suitable for children, let's say below 16 or more. There are still steps have to be made. It's the regulation with regards to vaccine is stricter for children as compared to adults. So the vaccine manufacturer and the pharmaceutical company, they have to be on their foot to make these steps happen and get grants for making the vaccine for the children as well. So that is one thing that we all have to work upon. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, Neha, well, I have twofold questions coming to the
Yes.
conclusion of your session, which has been wonderfully taken by you. Number one is the lockdown is the only helpful tool in the hands of the government to curb the any wave which is coming, or there shall be a mechanism which shall be adopted to the upliftment of lockdown. So, what is in your opinion is more comprehensive to deal with the situation?
Dealing with the situation, as we can see by we learn from our history, the first lockdown was successful. We had the cases, it got down, our wave was curbed. And then again, when we started unlocking, there were a little less stricter regulations than it was during the lockdown. people have to be made sure, even though we are unlocking or we are lifting the lockdown, you have to maintain basic precautions. The basic precautions is the Magna Carta for dealing with the vaccine, and these should not be gotten rid of. You know? And there are after this lockdown, there can be a mechanism to lifting the lockdown up so that we can get back to a little sense of normalcy, as we all are hoping for. But it has to be done in a systematic manner and made sure that people are following the guidelines that are supposed to be followed.
So that has to be regulated in a manner form by the administration, which is had to be done by their level. So
Yes,
another choice of, if I'll say, it is more of an opinionistic thing which I'll be asking you.
yes,
Definitely, vaccination is one of the important factors which has to be considered before thinking of coming of third wave. The other is like preparations of the hospitals, the
yes,
pediatric department, as it has been said that it would be coming for the children, disaster would be there for the children. In my view, another thing which is very important, which we are just forgetting in this whole regime, is that what we have seen recently, the dumping of bodies into the rivers,
yes,
the lack of crematoriums, the lack of the bodies to be buried, the land is not there. So such allotments and preparations also to be done beforehand, as in with
exactly.
keeping in view and what we have learned from the bad affairs of second wave. What do you say?
Exactly. As you said, we have to learn from this. We have to take everything in precaution. We have to prioritize and make a systematic plan. As the Supreme Court of India also said, the Pan India plan has to be made to combat the third wave. We have to take all of this into account. The accountability was actually thrown up to the wind during the second wave. So nobody was being held accountable. Nobody was answering the questions. Everybody was just playing the blame game. So yes, we have to learn from this. And apart from that, I think vaccination is one of the most important thing apart from this. But this is also one point that we are forgetting is the vaccine. How will people who don't have access to the vaccination apparatus, how are they going to get vaccine? Like as we know that we are getting vaccination from online registration and on the phone and everything, and there are majority of the people in rural areas and they don't have access to these. So what is the plan and the strategy to get everybody vaccinated with or without the help of internet and mobile phones?
So in your view, it has to be more of strategic as well as to be a oriented plans which has to be implemented by the administration
Yes,
in
yes,
view of to the what we are seeing upcoming third wave.
yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Neha, for this session. It was very lovely to have you on the board, and we would
Thank
love
you so
to
much.
have such more sessions with you. Thank you,
Yes,
Kriti, for
my
assisting
pleasure.
us.
Thank you, Kriti. Thank you so much.
And I would
Thank you,
also
sir.
like
Thank you,
to
ma'am.
thank the Kashyap partners who had been there today as a collaborator partners for the present session. Thanks to them also. Thank you so much.
A pleasure. Thank you so much.